Welcome back. So, in that first video, I was breaking down my journey through religion, right? Starting with Christianity, Judaism, uh, Muslim, Islam, to the Freemasons, the connection between all those, on to Gnosticism, and then to Hinduism, and then Buddhism. But that's the thing, again, that was very eye-opening when I found, when it says that Jesus went down to Asia and, had to leave when he was like 11 years old or whatever, and or 12 years old. And that whole time, and then we don't see him again till he's 33, right? He shows up in Jerusalem on the white donkey there, Well, actually, the first time at 33, we see him getting baptized by his cousin John, like I mentioned in the last one, his cousin. So I was explaining the religion. I just lost my train of thought again. I was explaining, following Christ and all that, but I was explaining the religion side of it. Now, I didn't really get into the spirituality side of it. So here we are for part 2. Now, this one is, I think, just a ongoing process. Still learning, still growing. That's what we really are. Our spirits, you know what I'm saying? Our soul. It's an eternal piece of God that just continues to grow. And we talk about our soul and the Holy Spirit and all that stuff in Christianity, but I don't think we really understand that we are actually spiritual beings having a physical experience. We think it's the other way around. Again, this is part of the spiritual awakening that I mentioned in that video. Now, after I studied all those religions, again, all the occult stuff, all the Gnostic stuff, and again, the word occult just means hidden. The word Gnostic, it just means, comes from gnosis, it means knowledge. These are not scary words, but we've made them to be demonic. And it's like, that's what they wanted. They wanted to scare you so that you wouldn't seek the truth, the knowledge, the hidden meaning, the hidden knowledge. They made it evil. So you've been scared. And your fear has kept you from knowing the truth. That's again what a spiritual awakening is coming into that, into those shadows, experiencing them fully and seeing they're just another piece of the light, just another piece of you that has not been integrated. Now, I was still learning about all that stuff. There was a friend of mine, and she was, we had made music together. She was a Christian as well, but also would talk about things like manifestation, and it's in the Bible and stuff. And back then, even I was like, what? Hold on, you got a demon in you. I was that guy. That's how I understand it, right? I'm not judging. I'm speaking from a place of experiential knowledge, like I continue to tell you guys, man. I'm just sharing my experience, my truth with you, So I was sharing my new beliefs with her, and she had been going through the same thing, but she sent me a video on an NDE, near-death experience. And this sent me down a completely different rabbit hole. So, and it was perfect timing, because right when I had understood religion and what it's all about and what Jesus was actually trying to teach and all that kind of stuff, like I was saying, Jesus had actually gone when he left at 12 years old. There it is. Glad that came back. He went into India. He went into Asia. Follow the Silk Trail. That's what he would have followed. That's what he would have traveled on, the Silk Road. It has all these travelers, and he would have come into knowledge of all that different stuff, you know. Not to mention one of his uncles, the uncle that gave the house that they did his burial in, or whatever it was. I forgot who it was. Joseph of Arimathea. There it is right there. That was his uncle. He was super rich. He would take Yeshua with him on his voyages and take him all over to the trading spots, and Yeshua would learn. So he had experience with these other religions, the chakras, the oneness with God, the non-duality, the unity perspective, Christ consciousness. He had that's how where he learned all this stuff. That's what he was trying to share with his people. So when he left at 12 and came back at 33, he was a new dude. And the Bible doesn't talk about any of that. Oh, just the hidden years. And we're just supposed to be like, oh, the ages from 12 to 33 don't matter at all, do they? No, dude. This is where his spirituality and who he was as a person was formed. And like I said, it was in Asia, in India, in Indonesia, I believe is what it was, or what was it? Ethiopia. There it is right there. The Ethiopian Bible has like 83 books. The King James only has 66. So again, there's just been book after book after book taken out. But so Jesus learned about all these different things. So as I'm continuing, so I knew that he was into all this different stuff, and that's what he was trying to teach him. When she shared that video with the NDE, it opened a whole nother side of it. And again, it was perfect timing, right after I'm coming out of all this religious stuff and trying to really understand what Jesus was teaching. So I start watching all these NDEs, and I'm talking hundreds of them. Okay? And people start talking about they leave their body. All these accounts are, these people actually died at some point. Their hearts had been proven clinically stopped. There should be no function, no oxygen to the brain. They should not have brain function. Hours upon hours, some of them, 30 minutes feels like days. But so they clinically proven to be dead, leave their body. They experience when that state of death occurs, they experience their true self, their higher self, their spiritual self come into being. They say, oh, I saw myself outside of my body, right? And I saw what this doctor was doing. I saw the people in the other room. I saw my friend who was 27 blocks away, in another part of the state. I saw what she was doing. She was going through her house getting ready. I saw her put 2 different socks on, right? All these different experiences. I'm blending them all into one here, just giving the overview of it. And then this lady goes to see her in the hospital, and it's like, how could they have known that? How could they have known that their dad was in another room in the parish church part of it, praying? The mom was outside in the car. You're supposedly dead, but yet can see all these things. Okay, so they leave their body, and they realize that they are not their body. Sometimes they don't even recognize their body. They're like, dang, that person's in bad shape. Sometimes they don't even recognize that that's them. So where have they gone? Some call it the astral realm. People can leave their body, out-of-body experiences. The near-death experiences, same kind of thing. Astral projection, people can do it, right? It's very common in witchcraft and dark occult things. Where are they going into? This spiritual dimension. As I said in one of the first videos, the human body can only see and hear a very tiny part of the giant spectrum, the full spectrum. So we go into that spiritual space. You can also tap into it through drug use. Mushrooms and LSD and PCP and all these different ayahuasca and you know what I'm saying? Peyote, all these people, you know? Weed and cannabis and alcohol to a certain extent, but alcohol is more in the demonic realm. But because it eats your body, brings on this body-eating demon, ghoul. That's where we get the word alcohol. But anyway, so you could tap into these dimensions. Now, so these people leave their body. And it's always that's always the first step of these NDEs. They leave their body. Second step, they always go into a different place. Some people will feel like it's the darkness and they see. Other people are in just pure light. You know what I'm saying? That one or the other, just pure darkness or pure light, one of the two. And they feel the sense all of a sudden of eternity. Like we can't wrap our mind around that we are eternal beings. We're finite, you know, finite beings, have a finite mind, time, space, time, three dimension, density. So we can't wrap our mind around eternity. But when you leave your body and you're in that spiritual place, they do talk about when they're either engulfed in this light or this darkness, they say that they feel the presence of eternity. They understand, they can understand eternity and that they are eternal beings. And even in the darkness or the light, they feel the presence of it being like home to them. Okay? And they talk about they could just stay there forever. That's why they talk about eternity, because they can wrap their mind around it. It's like, so all of a sudden, if they're in the light, a shadow will appear. If they're in the darkness, a light will appear. And as this light or shadow gets closer, it becomes a being. A being. And some call them familiar spirits. Some call them your guides, your spirit guides. Some call them angels. Some call them ancestors. Whatever the hell you want to call it. A being from the astral realm, the other side, the fifth dimension, the fourth dimension, whatever you want to call it, comes into contact with them. And at first they are just starting to wake up. It's like they don't recognize who this being is. Sometimes, again, it's a spirit guide. Sometimes it's an ancestor. Sometimes it's an angel. Sometimes people say it was Jesus, whatever the being was. Shiva. Right? So all kinds of different people see different things. Buddha, Dalai Lama, right? All these different entities that they see. These beings, these ascended masters, these ancestors, these other parts of God that are still in this dimension that you have now entered by leaving your body. The spiritual realm. And this, it's like the people who are seeing these that are coming into the, it's like they're waking up from amnesia. It's very foggy for them. They can remember who it is, but not really. You know what I'm saying? But finally, the amnesia goes away, and they recognize the individual, whoever it is, right? And they go on journeys, and all of them go on different places. Some of them are at beaches. Some of them are in heaven. Some of them have experienced hell in these NDEs, right? All these different experiences that they have. And but usually it's always very the order that I'm sharing with you is usually pretty foundational. It's like this is like kind of the way that the process takes place. So we'll go with the heaven experiences that because like I said, I've watched a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? So usually they'll see an ancestor, they'll see a guide, they'll see Jesus, and they'll have conversations with them, and they'll start talking. You know, I don't want to go back to this place. Da 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 da. And the guide, the ancestor, Jesus, will be like, okay, you don't have to. You know, you signed up for that. You have free will. but let me show you what you'll miss if you do decide not to go back. And they'll show them family members or what they could have achieved and the reason that they actually went down there to the earth realm in the first place, right? And they'll be like, oh, you know, this, so my child will experience this, or I'll miss out on this. My soul will not gain this experiential knowledge and this wisdom and this growth, and the reason that I went down there, it won't be achieved. So they choose to go back to their body. Hence the term near-death experience, because all these people do come back to their body. But when they are there, usually they'll meet, this is another overriding theme in this experience, is the Council of Elders. The group that are wise, eternal beings that help you based on where your evolution as a soul and where your karmic scale is, and on and on and on, help you choose the life that you have chosen. The parents, the siblings, the country, the spouse, the children, the career, the job, all that stuff, you know, the death, the way that they will die. All based, and again, this Council of Elders is helping them come up with, okay, this person right here, this mom and dad, this open soul, or this human vessel, that this three-dimensional human vessel, let's put this soul in there, because this is about 97% level with exactly what your soul and what you're gonna experience here. They're some of it's 82%, some of it's a 77% chance, right? It's all based on free will. Free will really does come into play. And at any time, because your soul is coming into this thing to evolve, so at any time, if you feel like you've learned your lesson, you can veer off your original course, your original life plan, and choose something new as a soul. And with your free will, you can do that. But for the most part, we do follow these agreements that we've made, the soul contracts, if that's what you want to call it, because we come into it with other souls as well. You know what I'm saying? I want to experience this. We come in as like a family union. So we're like, okay, sometimes you're the mom, sometimes you're the dad, sometimes you're the kid. You see what I'm saying? All these different. So on that note, my grandpa died 9 months before I was born. Okay, 9 months. My grandpa died. I was born 9 months later on my grandpa and grandma's wedding anniversary, July 25th. Literally 9 months. And actually, I think it might have been 10 months or something like that. After the situation took place. So, as a family unit, you know, first I was the dad, now I'm the son. Possibility. If you talk to my family and my dad and our relationship, you'll definitely get a chuckle out of that. But so yeah, man. So we come in as family units based on what our soul is trying to learn, what we're trying to learn. As a family unit, also as an individual soul, right? And again, we all have free will during this process, so we could choose to veer off course, go a different direction, but for the most part, again, we do choose the way that we're going to live it. So anyways, they see that, and then this is another very overriding theme on like 9 out of 10. This is the same with the Council of Elders. Same with seeing leaving the body and all that different stuff. But they have this thing called a life review. where they literally experience their life not just from their perspective, but from the individual on the other side, from their perspective. You know, if you lived a life, this is where karma comes into it. If you lived a good life, Mother Teresa, that might be a pleasant experience for you to experience that from the other individual's experience or perspective. If you were Hitler, that's probably not going to be the most pleasant experience, having to experience that from the other individual's perspective. There was this one NDE, I remember this one gentleman, he was talking about how this dude cut him off. Road rage, man. Man, do I get it. Nothing will test your spirituality like road rage. This dude gets cut off by this other dude, and he jumps out of his car, pulls this other guy at the stop sign, or at the red light, pulls him out of his car, out of his window, in the intersection, starts beating on the dude, gets back in his car and takes off. Road rage at its finest. So this dude in his NDE is the other guy in the car, and he's feeling the shame of getting pummeled in the middle of the road, the shame of weeks of just broken jaw, fractured eye socket, wearing that shame around his friends, family, coworkers, all that kind of stuff. Literally felt it from that dude's perspective, man. And you got to ask yourself, all these ancient yogis that are talking about treat them how you want to be treated, and you know, we are all one, and you are all one. You experience it from that individual's perspective. Like I said, unity consciousness is real. You literally are them experiencing that in your life review, man. So we that's deep right there, and that's hell, if that's what you want to call it. You know, again, hell is a state of consciousness in the physical realm as well. We know many people that live there, right? We see them every day. They choose to be there, man. They're making the choices that's what they choose. That's the level that they have chose to evolve. Some of them want to experience addiction. That's you know, some of them want to experience murder. Some of them want to experience rape, molestation, being a millionaire, being a pro basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Being the victim of abuse. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but when we're with that council of elders and we're picking which family we want, some of us do pick that drug addict woman on the street, on the bench. You know what I'm saying? That's the experience they want. Some of them pick, hey, yeah, let me sign up for the Holocaust. Let me get in the gas chamber. I want to experience that. You're sitting here saying, this dude has lost his damn mind. No, understand something. If you want experiential knowledge, if you want to fully understand something, you must be the one who commits the murder and the one who is being murdered to fully understand what murder is. The one who is committing the rape and the one who is being raped to fully understand what rape is. The one who is torturing and the one who is being tortured. The one who is a millionaire and the one who lives on the streets and is poor. The one who is a male, the one who is a female. The one who is black, the one who is white. You must understand every single part of it to fully know it. That's why I know that you cannot fully know thyself. You cannot fully gain experiential knowledge in one lifetime. Reincarnation must exist for you to fully evolve, for you to fully grow. And that it does. It's obvious that it does. Like I say, when you study any other thing outside of Christianity, you'll see, yeah, it does. Most certainly does. So these people all have these life reviews, and they meet with this council of elders, and they realize, oh wow, I chose the life and they ultimately choose to come back, right? And they're like, man, I want to gain the experiential knowledge, and they come back to horrific situations, broken legs, mangled bodies, because they had to literally die, you know, infectious disease, like whatever situation they're going through, which is usually very horrific, right? And they come back and they go through it, but they have this peace all of a sudden. They're not the same person that they were. They have this spirit, and everyone's like, man, you, where did you go? And they try to explain it to their friends, family, doctors, and they're like, get thrown in insane asylums and written off for crazy and Looney Tune, right? But no, they know what they know. And they've tapped into the spiritual realm. And I was like, there it is, man. There it is, that spirituality. And again, you could tap into that through drugs. I tapped into it through mushrooms. And I will explain my mushroom story. I'm going to have a video just on that because it's so freaking profound and deep. And again, you ain't going to hear this in church. But it involves God. Completely. Right? So another way that God spoke to me. So that's when you tap into that spirituality. And that's when you do start, you know, trying to understand what the chakras are all about. And that's when you start getting into New Age. And New Age is just a blend of all these Eastern philosophies, man. Buddhism, Hinduism, some Christianity, some, you know, some witchcraft, just all the different stuff, man. Paganism, you know what I'm saying? All of it blended into one. So that's why some people like Christianity and religion and stuff, because it's more structured, right? Okay, we're going to church, we're having, you know, this is when we pray, we're doing our fasting, and, you know, we're seeking the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's more structured. Which, again, dude, there's a time and place for it. There was certainly a time and place for that in my life, so no judgment whatsoever. If that's what you feel like you need, man, ride that out, you know, in this lifetime. Maybe that's what your soul has chosen, and that's what I'm saying. You got to know thyself. You got to do the inner work. Who am I? What do I want? Why am I here? These are the questions that you got to ask that still small voice, that inner voice, that you have to go into the kingdom that is within to find the answers. Seek and you will find. This is what? Why am I here? Why have I incarnated? And it makes a lot more sense that, and then so then I got into. It makes a lot more sense that Earth is like a school rather than a one-time fits all, one size fits all. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, imagine that you are a dude from Iowa, a 10th generation farmer, and you live your entire life on that farm. You left 2 or 3 times. Once you went to Nebraska to get a new tractor, and you went to New York once to get a cow, to do some auction. I don't know, right? You never really left. You lived your whole life on that farm. One time you had a bad crop, but other than that, pretty good. Your family, your 10 generations, they're all buried on that same plot of land that you lived and eventually died on, based on Christianity. If you knew Christ, accepted Christ in your heart, you're going to heaven. If not, you're going to hell. Does that make sense? No. Here's what makes more sense. Your next lifetime, the very next one, because you're karmic, that's what the yin and yang represents. Light and darkness, it represents balance. It's a perfectly symmetrical, balanced shape. A little bit of light, a little bit of darkness, in the light, in the darkness. Perfectly balanced. That's what it represents. It represents your soul and balance, karma, your karmic scale. You're trying to have it balanced. So what your karmic scale would need, if you were that man from Iowa that lived on the farm his whole life, would not to be, oh, I'm going to heaven or hell based on if I believed in Jesus or not. No, you'd have to come back. You wouldn't have to, but you choose to. As a female bartender in New York City who never slept on the same couch twice. See what I'm saying? That's what your soul would require for the balance that you're trying to achieve as a soul. So, yes, to live, and again, back to what I was saying, could you understand murder in one lifetime? No, you could not. Could you understand rape in one lifetime? No, you could not. Could you understand money, being rich and being poor? Could you understand love? Having love and hate? You know, One, you're Hitler, the other, you're Mother Teresa, because you got to balance the scales. And Christians don't like that. They're like, what? You're telling me Hitler's not burning in hell for eternity? Yes, Christian, that's what I'm telling you. Because that was an experience. And like I said, the people that went through that experience signed up to experience that, because that's what their soul required to grow, to evolve. Yep. People don't like this. They do not like this. They're like, hold on a second, man. So you're telling me that if I were to just be a murderer, that I'm not going to hell? All this cruelty, all this evil, all this suffering I see, there's not someone going to pay for it, man? Well, like I said, in your life review, you will suffer that consequence when you are experiencing that from the other individual's perspective. It's as real as you living, experiencing it. It is a hellish experience, right? Plus, that karma that you have accrued for yourself, i.e. a Hitler, it's not going to take one lifetime to balance that scale. We're talking many, many, many lifetimes of suffering to understand the suffering that you put those others through, right? So the karma, the balance, is a real thing. Even the Egyptians, Osiris, it's like he's got that scale. Your soul has to be lighter than a feather. Otherwise, you're going to the underworld. Light as a feather. You have to be balanced. Perfectly balanced. Yin and yang. So, that's what spirituality is. Again, it's that fifth sense, that sixth sense, excuse me. Truth in plain sight. The ability to see the other realm. You know what I'm saying? Some of us have the visual, ocular. Some of us have the hearing, right? Some of us have the feel, right? The intuitive. So that's what we truly are. We're psychic beings. You know what I'm saying? We're telekinetic. That we could feel when someone walks in. I mean, dude, the people with the gift of empathy can really feel this. This is a gift and a curse. I personally am one of those individuals. I could feel the energy of the others, man, and it's so right now with where that toxic energy. It's poison, dude. It is poison to my spirit, to my soul, to my energy. I choose not to be around it. I can't even be around it. And that is the separation of the wheat and the tare, the 5D and the 3D, right? The thing that the Bible talks about, the New Jerusalem, the rapture, whatever you want to talk about, the new earth. That's what it is, man. Some are choosing to be on that 5D energy where they take responsibility. They aren't in that negative energy. They choose to hold those higher frequencies, those higher energies of joy, peace, forgiveness, kindness, mercy, non-judgment. You know what I'm saying? They chose to hold those frequencies. The others are choosing that negative. Blame others. God outside of me. It's their fault. Not taking responsibility. That's what this is all boiling down to. Not what if you believe that the blood of the Lamb will on the third day, and none of that shit. No. It's who you are. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Whoever you are, whatever frequency, whatever vibration you are resonating at, that's where you're going. Period. End of story. It's fair. It's just. It's not like, oh, some God is sending me in hell because I don't deserve it. No, you chose it based on your actions and your choices. Like I told you, man, that's what a spiritual awakening is healing the places, taking responsibility for your life, your creation, and creating something new. Those of us who are doing that are entering the new earth, the 5D. We're creating it as we speak. It's a beautiful time to be alive, man. Take your power back, ladies and gentlemen. So That's the spiritual side. And like I said, that's when I came into that. And then I started getting into totally different teachings, like what's her name? Dorothy, Dorothy. What is her name? She talks about the new earth. Dolores Cannon. Edgar Casey. The sleeping prophet. Dolores Cannon would go into this thing called QQT, quantum QHHT, quantum hypnosis technique. Something like that. QHT. Quantum healing hypnotic technique is what it is. QHHT. So, and what she would do is put you in a state of hypnosis and talk to the higher self. Not just the oversoul, but the higher self, right? And so not past the conscious into the subconscious. And many stories does she have, and all kind of people that lived with Yeshua, and that's where that Joseph of Arimathea story comes from. You could look that up. That's where knowing that Jesus was in a scene, all these different things, right? From these Nostradamus's predictions. Edgar Casey would go into a sleep trance-like state and start giving off these prophecies, many of which have come true. Again, about the last days, about spirituality, about Yeshua, all these different things. Then you get into the occult, you know what I'm saying? And you start learning some of the stuff that they were teaching, and it's basically the same stuff, that you can manifest your reality. You can create your reality, and these hidden things that tap into the spiritual side of it, your subconscious, and how you create your reality, the stuff that they kept hidden because they didn't want the masses doing this. But we're coming into the time, the new earth of the awakening, where nothing will be hidden anymore. The occult is being revealed, the hidden is being revealed, right? That's what the revelation is. The last chapter in the Bible, Revelation, what does it mean? The revealing of that which was hidden. That's what we're experiencing. That's what the age of Aquarius is, the age of wisdom, the age of knowing, the age of gnosis. Not hope, faith. That was the age of Pisces, the fish. Jesus is the fisher of men. His symbol is the fish. He multiplies the fish. The Catholic, the Pope, his hat is a fish. Mitre. Dagon, if you know anything about that. The god of the sea, which is why currency, and money are all, if you look into it, a bank and the bank of a river, all the flow, money flow, currency, all these names of that have more to do with water than they do with physical land. That's what the banking system is based upon. So all kinds of deep wisdom when you start getting into it and understanding the truth about the existence. But when you really understand, okay, I signed up for this. Not only am I God and have the power to do something about it and be a sovereign being, right? Again, the fractal piece of God. But I signed up for this exact experience. So instead of running from what you're running from, embrace it fully, because this is a earth school. It's a school. It's where you come to learn and grow. And you could take the test as many times as you need to. You could repeat the class as many times as you need to. There's no principle or God that's going to send you to hell for failing the course. No. What actually is going to happen is you're going to have to just come back and repeat the course. Because you can repeat the course or the class as many times as you need to grade, but you can't get to the next level. You can't evolve. You can't grow. You can't go to 5th grade if you have not passed 4th grade. That's just how it works. So you got to continuously come back. So don't do that. Lean into it. Lean into that bullshit. Lean into that drama. Lean into that fear. Lean into that laziness. That side of you that's like, oh, I don't want to learn. I don't want to grow. I don't want to evolve. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in the matrix, man. I'm comfortable saying, your will be done, Father, and not taking responsibility for my life, my creation. Again, no judgment, but come on now. Man, you incarnated for a time such as this right now, while Mother Earth is raising her frequency, while we're coming into that, the end of the Kali Yuga in Hinduism, the end of the Mayan calendar, the end of the age of the Piscean age and moving into the age of Aquarius, the end of the old earth and coming into New Jerusalem and the new earth, the end of 3D and moving into 5D. Do you get it? That's what you're here for. Big deal. You're here now. You incarnated now, right now. The beauty and the time and the ability that you have to create something special right now is right here at your fingertips. And through your free will, you will either choose to let it slip right through, or you will create something amazing. That's the spiritual part of my journey that I came into, that I have woken to. So, yeah, wanted to share that part with you too, because that's just important as the religion part. So, all right, that's it for this one. We'll keep going. Love you guys.